What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. I'm your host, Disco, and today we're going to be talking about the 2024 Senate elections, not the gubernatorial elections, not the House elections. We already discussed that. Not the presidential election. We've also discussed that. But there is a new video coming out in case of a certain scenario that I think could be likely. Now, we're going to be talking about these Senate elections. Now, these are getting interesting, to say the least. Now, I'm just going to put the margins that each of these candidates won by um, in the last elections. Now, keep in mind, some of these margins were due to certain elections happening and like how things went. Say, like, a lot of these were from a blue wave year. So, this is it. Yeah. So Democrats currently have 51. This is the current makeup right now. Now, I'm going to get now. We need to be careful about how we do this because doing it right means doing it right. So let's get talking about these elections. Now, I'm already going to get rid of. I am going to classify all of these. I'm going to get rid of the colors. Now, what are some solid Democratic seats that I think will be going to the Democrats? Well, I think Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Delaware, Maryland. I think New York because it's a presidential election. California, Washington, and Hawaii. What are some Republican states? Well, that'd be Wyoming, Utah, Nebraska, Nebraska's special election, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, and also North Dakota. Now, now there's already a huge advantage to the Republicans. They have 46 seats to that they have already. Now Democrats only have 38, meaning that they have to somehow pick up more seats. So, uh, because Republicans, if they wanted to, they could keep all of their current seats right now, and they could gain Montana, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, Ohio, West Virginia. They could gain. They could get to 59 very easily, but these dis, these seats, they're not just going to go to the Democrats so easily, or the Republicans so easily. So let's get predicting. So I'm going to start off with some likely states. I think Minnesota will be likely. If we go back to the past elections, not from CNN, but if you go from like past elections, Klobuchar won by like 24 points in the last one, but she has been consistently winning by big margins, even with the Trump effect happening. I think she would win by like 13 points because she's quite popular there. I mean, like she won in 2006 with about 20 points. I mean, this district, I mean, not this district. I keep saying district, but she won in a blue wave year, in a really blue, in a extreme blue wave year, and only won by 20 points. Sorry, I had a notification on my phone. She won by 20 points, and then the next time winning by 34, and then the next time winning by 24. So I do think it'll go to her likely. She is very likely. So the other one is New Mexico. The incumbent Henrich only won by 23 points, but Johnson split the vote, so you would get about a 45. You get a single digit race. I do not think it'll be single digits. I think he will win about like 56% of the vote, but New Mexico is a bit weird. So our next one would be like Nevada. I do not think some of these elections are really hard to predict because say take Nevada. It's hard to predict because we do not have enough data. So I'll do the ones I do know. Maine, King. I think is King retiring? He has publicly expressed interest, but he has not filed the paperwork yet. Although he is getting old. I mean, like, how old is this man? He was the governor of Maine, and now he's like the incumbent senator. He was born on. He was born in 1944. He's 78. He's one of the oldest members alive. So it would not surprise me he if he like retired, but someone needs to take his place. So he would hand pick someone. And Maine is getting more open to electing Democrats. The other one is New Jersey. New Jersey is hard to predict because Menendez is like because he is has scandals going on right now. He never lost support from any major New Jersey officials after a mistrial was declared in Senator. Oh yeah, he has a bunch of corruption trials going on. De- Bob Menendez has not declared yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if he said no more, and so yeah, I say likely so far. Another one is Virginia. Democrats actually had a scare because they thought Tim Kaine was not going to run because he's not really young. Let's keep that in mind. He was born in 1958. He's 64, and so he is not like the youngest of senators. Well, actually, he is one of the youngest senators there, but that's because everyone's over like 900 years old. But because Virginia is moving a bit more to the right, that's because of Glenn Youngkin. Glenn Youngkin will have a major effect on in this race, so it wouldn't surprise me if he influences enough to the point where Tim Kaine is in a tight race. So this is where things get harder to predict because you're starting to go into some of these swing states. Well, I take that back. There is two states where it is easy to predict: Indiana and Florida. Why Indiana, Florida? Well, Indiana. Why is Indiana likely? Yes, Braun won the Senate election, but he is retiring, and I take that back. He is not retiring. He is just he is he's not retiring. He's running for He's running for the governor election because I think the Mike Braun, yeah, because the incumbent governor is term limited, so someone needs to take over, and Mike Braun would be a likely suspect. So who is the candidate? Who's filling the seats? I think it's Spats. Jim, my apologies. Excuse me. Jim Banks, U.S. representative from Indiana's third congressional district. He's been elected. He was elected in 2016, and yeah, decline Mike Braun. Okay, so what about Florida? Well, Florida. This seat is held by Rick Scott. Now, Nelson used to hold the seat, Bill Nelson, but then lost again. Lost. He was one of the most popular senators in the country, and he lost his reelection. Well, that's because of how Florida is moving towards the right. Say, like, if I take there is a huge difference. So let's actually take a map from the 2012 election and the 2000 and 2018 election. You'll notice a subtle difference, not because of the amount of blue, but because these margins here are lower. This margin here, but look at the count. Look at these counties. Boom. He had major support from suburban areas, but the minority group here, the Cuban Americans, did not support him enough. I do find it a bit weird. It does baffle me, like how it is the math here, but at the end of the day, though, the math is math. So that and Florida's far right appeal is present because Marco Rubio won the state by 16 points. That is almost as big as his first time winning, and he had a split vote. Yeah, he won counties that he wasn't really supposed to really win. This was really supposed to be like really a chance for Democrats to show whether they were still competitive. Rubio won Miami-Dade by a long shot, although there wasn't much turnout. But yeah, that's what I think based off the status. West Virginia, I say a likely Republican. There we go. We have our first pickup for the Republicans, and first pickup at all. Why? Well, West Virginia is one of the reddest states in the country. If we just look at like how it has gone through per election, in 2000, between 2000 and 2004, Florida went to the right by 6 points. It went even farther to the right, slightly for McCain. That's because of Obama. But then it went further to the right, and then to Romney by 13 points, and then Trump shifted it 15 more points to the right. Now, I that's something you got to keep in mind because Trump won the state by 42 points and then winning it again by 38 points. Now, he now Manchin's really got to appeal to the far right if he really wants to win because he's not appealing to the far right. He's made the Democratic base angry. He's made the sort of Trump base happy, but he's got a lot of battle between. He's most likely gonna have the West Virginia governor run against him, which I add he was the governor of West Virginia, so he's gonna have an uphill battle to climb. It wouldn't surprise me if he lost. Now we get into the tougher races. I think Wisconsin will go likely, just barely likely, because Baldwin is popular. She is popular. So Tammy Baldwin won her election back in So Herb Kohi, I think that's pronounced it. It was very popular at the time, but then retiring, yet retired instead of deciding to run for a fifth term. Tammy Baldwin won her election by a narrow margin. Now, at the time, it was narrow, but now this looks like a landslide victory for the Democrats. Now, okay, so then 2018, she was running in a state that Trump won. Therefore, she was going to have a lot of competition. Well, look at this. Look at all this blue. She won it by double-digit margin. In a state, Trump won by like 0.7. So, wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't very likely. Now, Pennsylvania likely. John Fetterman will support the Democratic nominee, most likely. Casey, Pennsylvania might have a retiring Democrat due to the fact that Bob Casey was just recently diagnosed with some sort of cancer. Doug Mastriano is the. I just realized this. I didn't take a look, but if Doug Mastriano actually tries to get the nomination, actually wins it again. Oh no, it's a double digit margin for the Democrats no matter what because Mastriano lost again, would lose again, and because he's super unpopular. So yeah, for Michigan, I think it will be a lean margin. Stabenow is not running for re-election. This is my home state, Michigan. So, will this? Who is going to fill the gap? Well, John James isn't going to run again. He'll lose. Uh, Declined. Tudor Dixon. Okay, there's so many candidates. Betsy DeVos, she would lose. Lisa McClain, Peter Meyer. I do not see John James here. Huh. If I am not seeing him, please look. Oh, here it is. Potential John James. So yeah, I say lean because Michigan's history and if a Democrat wins the election in the presidential election, it's going to go to the Democrats no matter what. So I say Republicans are going to gain Ohio. Republicans have been making gains in Ohio. Yes, Brown won his election by 6 points. Yes, he's very popular among suburban voters. Yes, he can. Excuse me. Yes, he can win elections there, but he cannot consistently win elections there. Because yes, he could do this. He can win elections, but can he consistently do it? Because suburban voters in Ohio are actually moving towards the right. There's a slight shift to the left, but there's no candidate that really represents Ohio. Sherrod Brown, on the other hand, is also not young. He was born in 1952. He's of age 70, and he is generally he has a lot of baggage when it comes to that due to old age. Republicans will use that against him, and even though they're worse at it in some ways, but they also got to keep in mind how if they want to win, they need someone not pandering to the far right, like J.D. Vance was. He probably what helped J.D. Vance get elected was his ideal of not pandering to the far right at the beginning and actually calling Trump out. But yeah, so they would need a popular candidate for an unpopular candidate for Sherrod Brown to win against. So that's why I think it's tilt. Texas, I think it's going to be lean again. Cruz is deeply unpopular. He does not arouse his base. He doesn't arouse his base. He's very unpopular, and amongst Hispanic voters, the Hispanic vote is getting more is moving towards the right. But will he win them? I do not know. This is the 2018. I need 2024. Cruz declared. Who declared? John Love III. You would need a Democrat very popular to win. I do not know that right away, but someone would have to fill that gap. But Ted Cruz is very unpopular. Texas is moving more towards the left. He doesn't arouse his base like Abbott did, but Abbott might influence the race, so that's why this race might turn from a lean margin to a likely margin. I'm going to put it as likely for now, but keep in mind that it's very close to a lean margin. Now, Sinema will win her election, assuming assuming there's no third party trying to split the vote. If there's no third party, she will win because she is very popular. She'll get the solid Democratic vote who said, "Okay, it's a Democrat, whatever," and she might pick up more likely Democrat voters. Lean ones will most likely vote for a more liberal Republican, and then they'll most likely vote for, or they might vote for Sinema based if the candidate is a very far right candidate for the Republicans, and Sinema might pick up more Republican leaning independents because of her very conservative values. I mean, she's openly bisexual but closeted Republican. So, yeah. For Nevada, that's tough to say because the last time we tried predicting this election, it went the other way. So I am still going to say lean Republican because the governor is going to say, yes, please vote for this one. And Nevada is moving more towards the right. So, and for Montana, John Tester, he has been winning his elections by narrow margins. And he's been consistent. Trump won the state by like 16 points in 2020, and yet in 2016, I think by 20. Yeah, and Montana's always been like this solid Republican state. It is not. It is moving more towards the left. So, I do think Tester will win narrowly. So, but it wouldn't shock me like with Let's Talk Elections said, it wouldn't surprise me if Montana turned Republican. It would not surprise me. So yeah, so I do not know what else is going to happen. It is really early to call, but we need to wait and get more data. This is what I think so far. So thank you all so much for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Please make sure you hit the comments. Type down any of your suggestions below, or you have any questions. Please type those down on the comments down below. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.